It's time for this week's midweek roundup. We have action from domestic cups in England and Spain, and from the form of the Carabao Cup and the Copa del Rey. Let's get right into it. Chelsea should have done better. They played very well in the first leg against Tottenham. They lost because of a penalty in the 26th minute, which Harry Kane scored. He's really good at scoring penalties. It was a ridiculous penalty. It was a ridiculous dive from Harry Kane, and it was awarded. Referee pointed to the spot. Harry Kane scored it, and even after VAR reviewed it, they still counted it as a penalty. And the worst part about it is whether you think it's a penalty. I'm sure someone out there will think it's a penalty. The pass to Harry Kane, the lead to the penalty incident, was offside, meaning that the whole thing shouldn't have happened. It should have been ruled offside. Score should have stayed 0-0. Nothing should have happened. The way Chelsea played, they didn't play poorly. They controlled the game for multiple instances. And the second leg, I think Chelsea will try to come for Tottenham, because the second leg will be at Stamford Bridge, and I think Chelsea will be more confident at Stamford Bridge. And I think Tottenham, maybe without Heung-min Son, won't be as good as they were on the day. So Chelsea could possibly overturn the 1-0 deficit, in my opinion. In the other Carabao Cup semi-final Leg 1 matchup, top division team Manchester City faced third division team Burton, who simply didn't perform on the day. Man City dominated in that they only allowed their opponents one good chance all game, which they could do nothing with. Manchester City defeat Burton 9-0. Goals came from De Bruyne, Zinchenko, Foden, Walker, Mahrez, and 4 from Jesus. Not only was the difference in quality obvious by watching the game, but Burton played poorly, even by their standards. And when you play poorly with a team like Manchester City, regardless of who you are, you're going to get smoked. And when you're a team like Burton and you get smoked by Manchester City, it's going to be 9-0. Knowing that the saddest part of the game isn't this. As I said before, these kind of games should be age restricted. They should be rated R. Violence, grisly images, a lot of stuff were present in that game. And let us remember, earlier this week, Manchester City beat a team 7-0. Meaning this Manchester City team, although it was against fringe opposition, have scored 16 goals in 2 games, which is simply unbelievable. 16 goals in 2 games is unheard of. Now, when it comes to this game, I think it should have been, once again, not shown on TV. Should have been age restricted. You need to have to verify your ID to witness the slaughter that happened. I think Burton lost a lot in that match. Great on them for getting there, but getting blown out, I'm sure it hurts. I'm sure that the manhood of Burton isn't feeling too good. I feel like Manchester City circumcised them, but they were already circumcised, so they went a little bit further with their circumcision. And some people on Twitter were talking about, was this respectful? Is racking up goals against Burton respectful? I think when you're playing in England and you're playing in the Carabao Cup, it shows respect that you take your opposition seriously to where you keep on scoring goals. Because had they just fielded out a B team and won 2-0, 3-0, which is what most teams would have done, it would be disrespectful for some people, because they'd be fielding a B or C team against opposition in a semi-final. But I think no one can say it was disrespectful. But the saddest part of the game is that they'll have to play again for the second leg, which, if it's anything like the first leg, we could have a very, very huge aggregate scoreline. My opinion on the English Cup and domestic cups as a whole, I think it's good to have one. Spain has one, Copa del Rey. That's the main cup. England has 2, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. I think that really devalues them. When you have 2 competitions, 2 different cup competitions, it devalues the two of them because, first off, Premier League is always the most important. Spain La Liga is always the most important. Then they both have Champions Leagues, relatively even with the league titles. Then under them in Spain, you have the Copa del Rey. That's right under them. England, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup go way back, like way under Premier League and the Champions League, which in their case, like, this is the Carabao Cup. Like, it's such not that much of a big deal that teams are fielding B and C teams for these competitions. And when you see teams do that, it's not a good competition. Speaking of the Copa del Rey, now we are on to the round of 16 of the Copa del Rey, leg 1. Let's roll right into it. Second division side Sporting Gijon played very well against Valencia. Although they had less chances, they did better with what they got. Valencia's season continues its downward spiral as they suffer a loss in the first leg, but with only a goal in it, they have a lot of hope here. I think that Valencia, they're a good team. They can have a good match. I think they could have a good match in the return leg, because in the return leg, they'll be home and they only need to win 1-0 to overturn a 2-1 away deficit. So in the second leg, I feel Valencia's a team that has a lot of hope to come back because it's not that big of a deficit. They can improve, and if they do get knocked out in the round of 16, I'm sure they'll be disappointed, but not as disappointed as they are with their current league form. Real Madrid played well as they met Leganés in the Santiago Bernabéu, and for the billionth time this season, things for Real Madrid just might be turning around. Leganés were under constant pressure as Ramos opened the scoring with a penalty in the 44th minute. Vasquez doubled the lead in the 68th, and he made it 2-0 in the 77th. Vinicius Jr. scored and would end the match 3-0 with that goal in the 77th minute. When it comes to the far future, I think Vinicius will be very important to the future of Real Madrid. I mean, he's 18. He's playing well right now. He's playing okay right now. And I feel he's going to be the future Messi or Ronaldo, or just a future very great player. Just mark my words. In the future, if Real Madrid keep playing him properly and honing him properly, as I think they are doing now, he will be one of the greatest players of his time. And if he keeps the right mentality, that's very important as well. Sometimes players don't keep the right mentality, but looks of it, I think he will keep the right mentality, especially if he stays at Real Madrid. I think he has clear goals in mind, and Real Madrid know how to develop him as a player. Athletic Bilbao, who are having a terrible league season by their standards, played Sevilla at home. Bilbao dominated the possession, at least with 63% of it, but were unable to do anything with it as they only got a single goal from San Jose, which was offset by goals from Nolito, Silva, and Ben Yedder from Sevilla. I don't see Bilbao coming back in the second leg. I mean, but by the way, they've been playing poorly. Sevilla have been playing well. I think Sevilla can ride a 3-1 away victory and keep pressing for the second leg and get a win, get a draw, to be able to advance to the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. Levante shocked Barcelona as, while only getting 37% of the possession, were able to claim first leg victory over Barca. Goals in the 4th and 18th saw Levante lead by 2 goals early on. Under 5 minutes away from regulation, Coutinho for Barcelona grabbed a crucial away goal from the spot to end the match, 2-1 Levante. Let's not forget, Levante was also the same team that ended Barca's undefeated season 37 matches into the season. It seems Levante have something for shocking Barca fans and Barcelona in general. The fellow Catalonian club ought to be very happy with this result. However, for them, I see Barca coming back in the second leg and going through to the quarterfinals in the Copa del Rey, because, especially with that away goal they got in the last few minutes, there is no way Barcelona's getting knocked out. I mean, unless they decide to field a second team. I mean, I know Lionel Messi's come out and said the Champions League is their priority. La Liga's the second, obviously. And they're already winning in La Liga. They're already building a lead. Everyone knows they're going to win La Liga. Champions League is very competitive. We'll have to see. But the Copa del Rey, I feel like Barcelona does want to win it. I feel like they do want to have a treble winning season once again. In fact, it would be a quadruple winning season because they won the Super Copa earlier on this season. So I think that Valverde will be very interested in fielding a stronger team and a strong team in the second leg at home in the Camp Nou to defeat Levante. Because all they need is a 1-0 victory because they already have an away goal to send them through to the quarterfinals. That'll be all for this week, for this midweek action review. Be sure to like and subscribe. Paper ball rolling out.